Hi, I'm Ian and welcome back to Better Skate Than Ever, and today we have a box. So, what's inside the box? That is a good question. I've been wanting to do this project for a while. I did actually purchase a pair of skates before and ended up getting rid of them because it wasn't the right time for me. But we are going to be converting a very popular choice, the Nike or Bauer Flexlite 2s. Really popular boot for comfort. We'll have a good closer look at them. But I was able to pick up both of these off of eBay. So we are going to go ahead and go through the step-by-step process of how to convert these from ice to quads. So one of the first things we're going to need to do is dismantle them, and that means taking these blades off. Now, as you can see around here, there's a load of rivets. So we have 6 on the back and 8 on the front. Now, one of the things to bear in mind is these front 2 here you cannot get into them. You could Dremel the ends off, however there is a bit of a trick. You need to be careful, but we'll show you that as we come to it. So first stage is to basically strip these down as much as we can. So that will just basically be getting the laces out. So we'll get those out. This is something, again, there's not a lot of information online. There is a few videos from about 8-10 years ago, but nothing that was particularly comprehensive. And yeah, really showed the full process through, which is why I wanted to do this today. Plus, I've always wanted to have a set of these. These will end up being my outdoor skates. Obviously, those of you that know me know my Supremes for the indoors. But yeah, so we'll get these stripped down and then you can start to have a proper look. So this is what we're left with, and the next stage is to actually open up the boot, and there is a bottom lining, so we'll go ahead and remove that. This can be stuck down, so you might need to peel it up. Just be a bit careful not to rip it. This one's coming out fine, and then we are left with the very bottom of the boot. So once we've got the lining out, you will see inside, we'll do a close-up of this, you will see the rivets there. So as I say, you've got 6 along the back here, and you've got 4 either side on the front. So this is where it gets interesting. What we're going to need is our trusty hammer and a star-headed, I suggest using an old one, screwdriver. And what we're actually going to do is place this into the top of the rivet and basically knock it through. So let's begin. So to do this, I'm going to put it in my vice clamp here. So we'll just get that tightened down. Will make life a bit easier. And then, yeah, so we'll get the screwdriver into the first rivet. And then we're going to go ahead and just tap it with the hammer. You will see under here, I'll try and get a close up of it as it happens, but the rivet will start to pop out. So let's have some fun. Try not to catch your fingers. Sometimes they can be a little bit stubborn. Don't let that put you off. Actually, what I'm going to do is move the blade over so that the catch is right where we're hitting, just to keep it a bit more stable. Let's get back to hammering. Okay, we're just starting to get the head coming out and showing now. Not enough to get hold of yet, so another couple of hits and we should be good. And now we're going to take our carpenter pliers and we're going to go ahead and just get hold of the head. See if I can show you. And then as we roll it back, they pull straight out, just like a tooth. So I'm going to go ahead and get the remainder of the back out, and then we'll move on to the front. That's one more in the back to go. That came out very easily. So we've got all of the tops of the head showing now, so we can go ahead and remove those. And once again, we just need to use our lovely pliers here, get hold of the head, roll it, and it comes out nice and easily. Just get the rest of these out. Flip this over. Don't worry too much if you're going to scratch up the blade, because we're not keeping that anyway. And there you go. Now we can see but that is starting to come away. So now onto the front ones. So as I say, you'll have to pull the tongue forward as much as you can to expose as many of those as you can. I'll start with the middle one. Let's get these ones out. Okay, let's have a go and see if we can get these last ones out. Okay, so it just leaves these last four. We'll try and get the screwdriver in. This is where it does get a little bit tricky. We have to start hitting at a bit of an angle, but it should be fine. Don't be scared to get the head of the screwdriver in and kind of bend the tongue back a little bit, it'll be okay. Okay, that's the first one. Same again. Just get the tip of the screwdriver into that slight divot. Go again. That's one. And there's that. Now, we're at a point where we have these two here. Now obviously with this boot and the Flexlites in general, nice solid hard toe on the boot there, so there's no way on earth we're going to get our screwdriver in there. So this is where you've got two choices. You can take a grinder like a Dremel or something like that and take the heads off. What most people do, this is where you need to be a little bit careful, don't go crazy, but you can actually pull them out. So we're just going to very slowly get our fingers underneath, try and support it as much as we can, and just start to move like this. So we can see there, that one is starting to come. So again, we're just going to very gently work it through. Okay, so we've got one of them. Let's just gently try and work that out. Okay, and then the last one, almost there. There we go. So that's pulled straight out. Then we are left with a nice flat boot and a great place to mount our new plate. I'll get the other one done and we'll come back as soon as that's finished. And there we have it. Super easy, barely an inconvenience, honestly. So, blade's gone. Two boots. Ready for the next step. Let's carry on. So we come on to the final part now, the exciting part I guess, which is getting the plate mounted. So first thing we're going to do is have a look at the plate. So these are from another pair of skates, obviously. These are from my Supremes. Not the best plate in the world, but you can't really fault a Playmaker. But what we're going to do, let's break this down quickly, just so it's easier to work with. So we'll start with that. So this is just going to make it easier to handle, easier to work with. We're getting obviously a lot of weight off of the plate. So I have a jump bar as well, which only barely fits. And then just work out the trucks and the cushions. Try and keep all your bits together, so you know where they've come from. Just over time with wear, things like bushings can wear differently, so yeah, it's a good idea, good practice to keep those together. Put these over this side so we know these are the fronts. Now we can also remove the kingpins as well. So with Playmaker plates, these just push straight out. So again, I'll keep that one with the, sorry, that's the back, and then this one with the front. And then we'll go ahead and remove the stopper as well, just for the sake of breaking it right down. Okay, so there we go. We have a fully stripped down plate. Move all these bits out of the way for a minute. So next thing we're going to want to do is, to make it easy for ourselves, we're going to try and find the center of everything. So ideally you'd have some masking tape. I have masking tape, I just don't know where. So we're going to use duct tape because, you know, everybody knows duct tape works for everything ever. So all I'm going to do is simply, and this is purely so I've got something to write on. So we can make this kind of scruffy, it doesn't matter. But we're giving ourselves something to write on. So if we get the Sharpie, it's not so important for the plate, but we're just going to mark a center line. And you'll see why this is a good idea in a bit. So we'll go ahead and do the same with the front. Again, you don't have to make this especially neat and tidy, but again, use little things to help. We've got the little pointy grabby bits here for the stopper. We know that's the center, so we can go ahead and do our line straight up from there. So now we have a center point marked on the front and the back. Next up, just to make things a little easier again, we're going to grab one of the hills. There will be links in the description to where you can get all of these, by the way. So nice simple hill plate. Remember, it curves inwards towards the back, so the longer bit goes to the boot and the shorter bit at the bottom is what goes on the plate. So basically, make sure I've got it the right way around, like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look, get these holes lined up, and we're going to tape this on for now, just roughly, just so it holds more than anything else. So you probably should do this first because I've covered my line, so I'm just going to redo the line, my center line. I'm just going to go, obviously, straight up there in the center. So next step is to basically do the same with the boot. Not as important, I'm not going to go ahead and tape the boot. Obviously we want to turn the boot upside down and heel at the back, and we're just going to sit that on. Now this plate is quite large. It's not the final plate for this boot, but it's just to get me going for now. So we're going to have a quick look at where the centers are. So this boot here, I'll try and show you, it's got 3 little cutouts here in the cap of the toe. So we know the middle one is the center, so that's a really nice point to line it up from. So we'll just go ahead and get that roughly right. Now what we're going to do at this point is just make a couple of basic holes, guide holes. So again, I'm not going to be able to show this probably perfectly, but we'll do some close-ups after. So in order to make a hole, we're going to do effectively our guide hole first. I'm going to have to do this away from camera, so I do apologise, but I think you understand what I'm doing and saying. So let's grab an awl or a bradawl, depending how you know it as. And what I'm going to do is just go into the hole and I'm just going to mark. Now this is going to go through quite easily, so you don't need to push it in particularly hard. Okay, it's all looking good, and same there. Okay, so now we have 2 holes. They're quite easy to see. I'll put my fingers just underneath them. You can see them there. And then what we're going to do, still with the awl, is just push through. And then the same with the second one. While you're holding, try not to poke your own finger. So I can feel the blade on the hole on the inside. So there, now we can see, again, those 2 holes. That's our first points of where we're going to mount. So Next up, we'll do the same with the back. What we're actually going to do, first of all, is I'm going to drill 2 little holes in here, because that way we can mount the front. It's a good idea to make the holes maybe slightly bigger than what they need to be, just so you've got a bit of wiggle room. And we'll get the front in, and then that'll help hold for when we line the back up. So let's get the drill. So we're just going to use a small drill, doesn't need to be anything crazy. What we're going to do is the little holes that we made with the awl. I'm using a plastic drill, which has got a nice little point on it. So all we can do, and I'll try and show you this, is just start the drill with the tip in that hole. And then we're just going to slowly take our time, start to work through it. I'll try and show you this the best I can. There we go. Don't need to push too hard, don't need to go crazy. That's the first one. Line the second one up. And there's our second hole. So next up, we need the mounting hardware. Comes in a nice little set conveniently. So the front piece is this one, and then shaped like the back, that's the back one. Obviously we'll come on to the back one. So with these, you've got obviously a couple of little nuts here that are nylock, and then you've got 2 washers. So we start off by putting this piece into the holes we've just drilled. So we'll get right into here and try and locate those. Right, I think we are getting there. There we go. Finally lined the holes up. Push that down. There we go. And as you can see, we have now got our first bit of the bracket in. So with that, we can now mount the front of the plate. So this will be the easiest part we do. Drop that into there. We check to see how lined up we are. Yeah, looks good to me. Nice. And then we are just going to pop we probably won't bother with the washers for a minute. We're just going to pop the nuts on. Just finger tight will do for a minute. And then that holds that flat. So now we're left with the back. So, I want to look for the center point. Show you where I've got it there. That looks pretty center to me. Give or take. And then once again, we're going to get our awl or our brad awl. Try and hold this so it doesn't move. Of course it's moved. So with the hill lined up, or as lined up as it's going to be, we can now go ahead and make a couple of holes. So once again, we can just gently push this through into the boot. Same for the other side. And there we go, 2 holes. So, because we only did this finger tight, we can remove this again. We'll pick that up in a minute. And the other one too. Now we can remove the plate, once again. Check for our 2 holes, which are here and here, which you're not going to be able to see, but take my word for it, they're there. And then we can go ahead and drill the next 2. Same procedure as before. Get the end of the drill in. Okay, so next thing, take our back piece and mount it on from the inside. So let's do that. Okay, we are through. So, as you can see in there, the metal plate. Can't really show you the one in there very easily, but we are through. So now we can start to mount the plate. So a couple of things just to know as I was going through. The screws or bolts that come out the bottom here, I actually had to get some longer ones. Unfortunately, these don't give enough clearance. I'm pretty sure I ordered the long extension set, They do a normal and a long kit. It could have been a mess up on their part, maybe they've sent me the wrong one out, but I've had to go for individual bolts here. So just something to bear in mind. So we need to get our plate back together. I've done that off screen because I'm pretty sure you know how to put together a plate. If not, there'll be videos on more simpler things coming soon, more basic things. But it's basically kingpins in, axles back on. I mean, it's the reverse of when we took it apart. So let's get the heel in. Right, so we have the back ones in now, just loosely. So first what we're going to do is get those just a bit more secure. So I'm going to have to take a Allen key and just feed it into the head, and then what I'll do is just use, I think it's an 8mm spanner, and just start to tighten that up. The last thing we need now is anything popping off and jumping out. Sure that's the best I can there. Just literally tightening this up now. Okay, so I'll get this tight and then we'll come back. Okay, so get the sounding tool key out. Now we have just got the front. You can see these are already poked through nicely. So we just need one of our washers, which sits on there just like that, and then one of our nuts. So these are nylock nuts, so they'll go so far by finger. Just pop the other side on as well. See there, we'll just get that tightened up. And again, I'll just get these tightened up with the spanner, and then we'll be good to go. And there we go. So, last thing for this boot, let's just pop the liner back in. Okay, so that's all in there, nice and snug. And then, here's one I did earlier. Same process, obviously. Get the tools off the table. And there we have our fully converted Nike Flexlite 2s. So let's get some laces and some wheels on them and have a look and see how they look. So there we have it, complete with wheels and laces and ready to go. Now, I'm not gonna lie, these are not exactly the wheels of choice, but they are just what I had lying around. If you've enjoyed this, obviously I hope it's helped out. I hope for anybody that's looking at potentially trying this, if you're gonna do it yourself, hopefully this can shed a bit of light. Honestly, there are places I'd recommend, Ollie's Skate Shop for example, that will do this conversion for you for around the £40 to £50 mark. If you don't want to get your hands dirty, you don't want to start cutting yourself and all of that, definitely give Carl a ring at Ollie's. They will take them in and do everything for you. But for now, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.